The other thing is a lot of the things that I talk about are, very tactical, and they're not specific about a mission. So it's not classified in terms of, like the fact that we use incentives to get a source to do something, or the fact that, these are common known things. It's what incentive, what day, what person, what piece of information, all of those things would be classified. So it makes my peers in the counter intel side, especially like Grim's little group on Facebook, and they get nervous about that kind of stuff when I talk about things. But a lot of this stuff is, I always say, like, watch Mr. Brooks, that movie with Kevin Costner. They do vehicle meets and source operations, so you can learn a lot about this stuff, and it's right there, and it's in a movie.
It's true. And I think if you want to see how that stuff really works, and for your audience, if you weren't a spy, you didn't do that kind of stuff, I think that movie Syriana is the most accurate depiction of Middle East intelligence that I've ever seen. And
why?
Just the way that you have a high and low level intelligence stuff, and it's not always the spy that's getting information. It's the spy that talks to the congressman that says, hey, you need to get this information out of this guy, and you've got 15 minutes to do it because his security rotates at 10:45 every evening, and you can go knock on the door, he'll let you in. It really happens at weird levels. There's extremely high level people doing really low level jobs, like putting a bomb on a car or something like that. And there's really low level people that are tasked to do really high level stuff just because they can't be facially recognized by another person in the room. And it's just a strange, unusual thing where there's allegiances. There's always going to be allegiances you don't know about. And that whole dynamic was strange. And I think when you're talking about incentives and stuff, the best performing incentive I've ever seen work in the Middle East was candy bars, because a lot of intelligence came from kids out there who were visiting a tent somewhere, getting a vaccine, learning how to brush their teeth, or there's a map on the wall and maybe a picture of a gun or a rocket. And he points up and says, oh, Jimmy's dad has a bunch of those in his basement. And that's where a lot of intelligence came from.
It's so true. We've got a short that I put up recently, and it's my buddy John and I. We both deployed to Bosnia. We were in the same battalion, same company, same everything, but we went to different spots. And we're in Bosnia early on. This is 96. And both of us had, independent of knowing this, that took us 30 years to figure this out. But they went out one day, and it was, the water supply was bad. Everything was messed up because it's war torn and everything's not what it normally is. And so it turned out that Maalox was something they couldn't get in the stores because they weren't, the normalcy factors were too low. Normalcy factors for the audience is like, can they get bananas? Can they get aspirin? These are normalcy factors. So they couldn't get Maalox. And so he's like, I got Maalox for days, I'll get you all the Maalox you need. And that opened up the doors. Like, these guys had a serious need. I mean, you imagine trying to get your life restarted and you're just, you got GI anger, gastrointestinal anger issues going on inside of you,
Yeah.
What a relief. And then we did the same thing with sunscreen. These guys were all rebuilding their homes, and they were just getting hammered by the sun. And they're like, if we just had some sunscreen. And you're like, you serious? Sunscreen? Sure.
Yeah.
This is the Army. We got a guy with the Connex full. He's begging people to take it. So come on, let's go. And that opened the door for us to meet people that we might have met them either way. But this was the fastest path, it turned out, was something as simple as that. I mean, we gave away a lot of cigarettes and whiskey and Game Boys and all that stuff, but it was the real necessities that created that trust to open the door.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so cool. And there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. Yeah. And it's just it's the small missions that are going on that are putting a gigantic, like a dot matrix photo together, but that giant photo is made up of those tiny little operations that give us what we call like an operational picture of what's going on.